The year is 2025 in the beautiful town of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The gorgeous Smoky Mountains, the overwhelming pleasant nature, with trees as far as the eyes can see, vegetation that inspires IRL streamer haircuts everywhere. What could possibly ruin this feeling of serenity and perfection?
Parking lots are filled with trash. It's disgusting.
You are part of the problem.
So, what exactly happened, and how does this affect the future of the car community? Today's video is sponsored by Fabletics. Fabletics offers quality clothing that has fashion, fit, and function that I absolutely love. Materials are long-lasting, soft, and very high quality. Also, it's quick to dry and anti-odor. And Fabletics has pretty much everything that you're looking for when it comes to fashion and style, whether it's a more formal occasion or as simple as doing a physical activity. Fabletics has you covered. They also have bold colors and sleek neutrals, so there's something for everybody. And when you're doing something physical like working out or your favorite hobby like mine, skateboarding, material is very breathable. So you can look good while also being extraordinarily comfortable at the same time. And Fabletics has an offer you absolutely do not want to miss out on. When you sign up to be a VIP, you get 70 to 80% off your very first order, which is an absolute steal. Also, becoming a VIP member of Fabletics has a ton of amazing options. Each month, your membership gives you 1 credit for a 2-piece outfit or any product up to $100. And the membership is flexible. You can skip any month between the 1st and the 5th without even being charged. And other VIP perks involve monthly drops, early access to styles, VIP only sales, and free membership to the Fit app. So huge thanks to Fabletics for sponsoring today's video, and go to the link in the description below where new VIPs get 70 to 80% off their very first order. Once again, huge thanks to Fabletics for sponsoring today's video, and thank you all so much for listening. So after many years of being in the car scene, I have a saying. For the most part, if you really want to dumb down the car community, there's 2 sides. There's the performance side of the car community, which is racing, more track focused, and cars performance. Horsepower, suspension, going fast. And then there's the stance community, which had a massive boom, especially in the early 2010s. And then there's somewhere in the middle with just car show people. You know, the guys with the fold-out chairs and the trophies in front of their car at their local Cars and Coffee. You know exactly what I'm talking about, so I don't need to elaborate more. You can only win so many Best in Show for your 1-of-1 C5 Corvette, okay? And before I really get into the roots of this video, I want to be clear. I definitely come from the more performance side of the car community, so I am going to have a little bit of bias here, just to be transparent. But that doesn't mean I haven't been to a million stance shows. Stance people, I still defend them for the most part, because I want the car community to be as big as possible. I want people to enjoy this scene the very best way they can and what they prefer. I think what I respect the most about the stance community is just getting their cars on trailers. It's already hard enough nowadays to do anything car oriented, including racetracks closing down, like Pit Race and, unfortunately, my own local track, at least for now, we learned about. But I have to say, if I'm gonna be honest here, there seems to be a trend here. But this story, to me, starts all the way back in 2019. Starting with a big car show called H2O. Started off mainly as a European car event and also a stance event. And by the end of the H2O life cycle, it got so rowdy and so crazy that Ocean City, Maryland, where H2O took place, had to literally declare a state of emergency due to how crazy things got, and unfortunately, the type of people it attracted. And there was another stance car show that was European based that was called SOWO, that was in Helen, Georgia. It's like this alpine town that's like Germany based, or resembles Germany. It got so bad there that they were never welcomed back either because they did so much damage to the town itself. The reason events like H2O and SOO failed was due to a horrific, vicious cycle. The people would get crazy, especially for attention, which then made the police even more paranoid, which then turned the entire situation basically into a riot. And with H2O, there was definitely more of a stick it to the man mentality, so people got extra crazy. Okay, with that context, let's talk about Slammedenuff Gatlinburg. The concept of Slammedenuff Gatlinburg is amazing. It's awesome. Gorgeous Smoky Mountains, plenty of places to stay and stuff to do, great roads, and great places for photos and video overall, and just an amazing hangout spot for car people. Until, well, the broccoli haircut striked again.
Slammedenuff was a travesty that never should have occurred. The amount of property and vehicle damage that they accrued while they were here supersedes anything they could have raised for donations. Parking lots are filled with trash. It's disgusting. Property owners are tossing out entire hot tubs and pool tables. The Corvettes don't do that. The Broncos don't do that. The Jeepers don't do that. No amount of money is worth this damage and destruction, and y'all just get to leave town. You don't have to deal with it.
Most people, when it came to Slammedenuff Gatlinburg getting crazy, was jumping straight to the conclusion that it was just takeover style people, which is a very, very, very fair assessment, okay? But it was mostly because of one incident. There's a general store in Gatlinburg called Jimmy's that's been very open to car people in the past.
Here at Jimmy's, we're going to be opening the barricades. We are very excited to welcome everyone back in. Please make sure that within 30-45 minutes you are rotating out everybody.
So much for everybody's cooperation. Thank you all so much for supporting us.
And it's pretty much central to this entire story of what happened. Allegedly, most of the week was fairly under control and chill until the very last night. And then some people just showed up and it got absolutely nuts. And this is where a little bit of a scrap broke out.
So here's what happened. Somebody ran over somebody's foot. Somebody got in a fight because he's got your foot ran over.
Okay.
So we come in and try to break it up. So they decide we're going to fight the police. Start fighting the police. Makes Jimmy's nervous because Jimmy's like, hey, I just want to shut down.
Yeah.
You know, we got too much going on. Can I just maybe just get out of here or whatever? Can't allow somebody to get their brains bashed in. So we have to have some way to help that person.
Okay, so this is more precautionary type of thing.
If what the police officer said is true, it's not an excuse to go cry about it and kick and scream like a baby. Sort it out like a grown adult. It's like the crowd in these videos have no emotional regulation skills at all, let alone thinking they can take on the police and go after the police with no consequences. I'm sorry, you're gonna F around and find out if you act a fool. I think what's so sad about the Jimmy situation is that this is cool. The owners were cool with it and they just had basic rules to follow. Like if you're not pumping gas, move your car please, and just have a nice rotation so other people can get into the area and give business to the store. It's cool to hang out at the gas station and meet people from around the country and different car communities and different car scenes, as long as they respected the owners. That's all it took. But then the non-enthusiasts and the clout chasers decided to show up. People that wouldn't know the difference between looking at a JZ motor and a B series. These are the same people that show up at a car meet and say their D series Civic runs 9s at the track. Pigeon Forge released a statement that Slammedenuff is no longer welcome in their town. And there's also lots of car events in that town of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, including the massive Rod Run. They don't have these type of problems. But whether it's the crowd it attracts, or how the city prepares for it, or unfortunately just blatant profiling, I hate to say it, the city does react differently to Rod Run than to Slammedenuff. There's no doubt about it. But after videos like at Jimmy's, do you blame them for seizing this opportunity? I hate to say it. I'm on the car people's side, but that behavior is unacceptable, regardless. And Jordan from Shipbox Garage, which I highly recommend you follow, is a friend of mine who does pretty good breakdowns and like boots on the ground kind of perspective. He was there and he had a great take on this.
The state and federal representative will use what happened at Slammedenuff Gat as direct evidence of why we shouldn't be allowed to modify cars, with even SEMA issuing a response. A lot of people don't know is everything that SEMA does behind the scenes. SEMA Action Network, for example, directly works with state and federal legislators to fight against people who who are trying to limit modified cars and trucks. When you have news stories like this happening, it makes it exponentially more and more difficult to defend the future of the automotive scene and the right to repair or modify.
So what people don't really realize is that organizations like SEMA are kind of the golden goose for people like us. They don't just host the big car show in Las Vegas for the industry, they also defend our very way of life as enthusiasts. And yes, you can sound dramatic by saying that. You can say, oh man, that really shows you have no life outside of car culture. It's like, well, for a lot of us, it's our main thing. Like if somebody was a big fisherman and they're like, hey, you're not allowed to use fishing reels anymore, you know? It's like, well, I want to modify my car. SEMA does the job to defend us in the government of letting us continue with what we love to do. But the reaction to the community to these groups of people that caused a bunch of trouble was very simple. They're not like us. But how do you tell the government that? How do you explain that? There's really no way to. I've taken a deep dive on what nighttime car culture has become in several videos, but here's the long story short. It only takes one person, but lately, it's usually a group of people now. Typically with a haircut inspired by the vegetable aisle at your local grocery store. All right, that's my last haircut joke. That's my last one. Shoot, you can even argue that the IRL streaming culture has completely skewed what needs to be content and what isn't content. Instead of just living in the moment and enjoying something, everything has to be streamed. Everything has to be on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever. You can't just be. And that causes tension. When you have a bunch of people with cameras, people do dumb things. It's literally always happened. And the government will probably take this as a great opportunity to really antagonize the car community. It's the perfect example to show that we are rioters, we're troublemakers, we don't do anything that's beneficial to the community. That's the perception that these videos are showing. It's just weird to be more of the boomer in the car community now, because when I started going to nighttime car meets, the older guys that I truly looked up to always told me that social media was going to ruin a good thing. And I'd be a hypocrite to say that because social media gave me an entire career, but it has some serious drawbacks here, especially for the generation that grew up with smartphones. They don't know life any other way, you know? Some of my fondest memories in the car community were at gas stations or empty parking lots, literally just standing around, enjoying the cars, talking to the owners, sharing stories, not causing trouble. Anyway, Slammedenuff Gatlinburg, what do you guys think about it? By the way, I have an event called Cosmic Drift. It's going to be at my local racetrack, which is unfortunately going to be closing down pretty soon. So if you want to come out to it, I'd really appreciate your support. Lasers, music, fun, family friendly. We'd love to have you. Come on out October 18th. And on that note, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.